Hello. Hi there.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear everybody.
Okay.
So just mute yourselves. Hello.
Hi, I'm going to shut my camera off too because I'm driving.
Not a problem. Don't get in an accident, please.
Okay, perfect.
Hi, Mrs. Kang. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Okay. Still have some. Okay, just waiting for a few. You can unmute yourself and then mute yourself. That way I know who's where. Okay.
Cool meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay. Kim, you tell me when you're ready to begin, okay?
I'm ready to begin whenever you are. My
All right.
camera's off, so I'm just listening, and then I'll unmute when you tell me to unmute.
No problem. I'm just going to quickly try to find the presentation. This is very fast. I will tape it. And I can give you some information that the governor has shared with us recently. So I think that will be helpful to all. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to ask that everybody mute themselves. Don't hurt yourself, Kim. Drive carefully. All right. So this is just a budget hearing overview. It's very quick. I'm going to minimize myself. And let's see if I can get this to start from the beginning. There it is. So we've done this at board meetings, but because the governor has given us a few more days to get our absentee ballots in, we figured it couldn't hurt to review it with our PTAs like we normally do when we are in person. We usually go to the actual meeting. So this is being taped so it can be shared, Kim, however you like, okay? So we're doing this for each building tonight. So the budget was created with the strategic plan as a backdrop, and every single line item on the budget relates to the strategic plan. So those are built upon our Board of Education goals and some feedback from some members as well of our community, our teachers, our staff members, to focus on goals that actually will bring us forward into the next level. So every single item in our budget relates to one of these areas: program instructional, positive culture and identity, which is how we sustain a healthy and caring, safe learning environment, professional practice, which is our staff recruitment and onboarding mostly, and then process and planning, which is how we pay for and how we plan for all of our capital projects. So we have a nice, safe building for our children to attend. So here is our executive summary of the budget. The budget is not fancy. It's really maintains our program and staff, our very nice program and staff. It does add a speech teacher, and it is already, we already are purchasing this year with this year's funds our one-to-one computers for students, which I will talk a little bit about in a few minutes. So our proposed 2021 budget is $51,086,433. That's a budget to budget increase of $861,751. And the increase percentage is 1.72%. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call from someone. The estimated tax levy is $43,948,766. The levy increase, which is largely driven by contractual obligations, health insurance, TRS, ERS, is $751,077. The percentage increase that we are allowed to have is 1.74, and we are at the cap. We're not over it. And it is one of the lowest percentages, tax levy increase percentages in Nassau County. On your ballot, which is via absentee, you have to mail it in, you'll see 3 propositions. The first is for the budget, so you choose whether you support it or not. Proposition 2 is to, as we have in the past, establish a capital reserve with any leftover funds. So if we manage to save our money and budget wisely, we have a little bit to squirrel away to do projects without asking the taxpayers for more money. Proposition 3 relates to a repair reserve, a project that we did over the holidays, which was to, for safety purposes, to make sure that if there's flooding, that nobody gets electrocuted. So, and then finally, of course, we have our election of 2 board members. We have 2 seats up. The term of Mr. DeFrisco and Mr. Bolzomi ends on June 30th. And residents will be asked to vote for the election of 2 members to the Board of Education for a 3-year term commencing on July 1st. We have 3 candidates, Christine Aguilar, Anthony Bolzomi, and Mr. John DeFrisco. You may only pick 2. So the budget vote is by absentee ballot. You were mailed an absentee ballot if you're a registered voter, and you must mail that in. It can only be mailed. Absentee ballots that were mailed to all registered voters have to be received in the district clerk's office by June 16th, 2020. We have some information on the website. If you have any questions, you can certainly call us. So now I want to talk a little tiny bit, not a lot, because we don't have much information about what September could look like and also what the summer might look like. I sent out an email asking parents and community members if they wanted to be involved in a task force for September, our Return to Learn task force. So I need lots of help with this. I've got 3 buildings, 4 grade levels, K to 2, 3 to 6, and then I've got a middle school, and then I've got the high school kids. And I have 5 areas that we need to talk about. We need to talk about facilities, health and safety, instruction, of course, building practices, and transportation. And all of that has to happen under 3 different scenarios, whether we all come back like normal, or if we're 100% virtual, or if only half of us come back, as is being rumored may be required by the governor. So I'm going to need lots of help and feedback and advice, and I hope you will consider participating. We do have summer programs that will be happening. Our BOCES remote program is going to run Monday through Thursday, July 6th through 30th, for grades pre-K to 6, grades 7 and 8. Unlike the last few weeks, which we saw some of our teachers doing some live instruction or more of it, this particular program will be 100% live. So combination of live instruction and daily meeting and review time, but with an actual teacher present on the computer. So that is going to be a little bit different than you might have experienced as we were first learning how to teach remotely. And that's largely because we now have the equipment to handle this, both our teachers and our students. This program is mainly for kids who are invited by their principal to participate. If you feel your child needs to get a little bit of a review and you haven't heard from the principal, definitely feel free to reach out and we will include you in that program. ENL students are included in K-6, and we are definitely looking into a special education program. The governor did give the nod over the weekend that we can do in person for special education programs, and that will run July 6th to August 14th. 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. What that is going to look like in terms of safety and social distancing, we need to figure out, especially transportation. And finally, this may not pertain to anyone in Cherry Lane, but you might have older children. Our grade 6, 7, and 8 Learning Forward program is specifically for math, since math skills build upon each other. And we are trying to address any COVID slide, as they call it, or lack of gaps in learning that might have taken place because of the remote instruction. As we were getting our stuff together, we don't want any kids to suffer because of that. So we're offering this over the summer for our students in 6, 7, and 8 who might need it. If you have little children and you think they need a little bit of review, as I said, definitely reach out to your principal, the K-2 program is skills-based, so we can certainly fit them in. We, as I mentioned before, are so excited. The only silver lining in this whole mess is our one-to-one initiative. So our K-2 students will be getting iPads with a keyboard. So you won't need a Chromebook. It'll have a separate keyboard and headphones. And of course, our 3 through 12 students will be getting Chromebooks. Everyone will have one, and all teachers will have a laptop with a camera. So we believe that we can address any kind of issue. If, God forbid, we have to have another issue with a pandemic where we all have to be out of school for an extended period of time. We'll be doing some curriculum and professional development work to that end. We've always kind of worked together to embed whatever the next iteration of what the governor calls curriculum work. Last time you may have heard Common Core. The new term for it now is Next Generation Standards. Essentially, whatever kinds of changes come down the pike from SED, we embed in our next cycle of curriculum review, and we do this on a continual basis. We map different pieces of curriculum, we talk about it, and try to get our kindergarten, first, second grade aligned with everything we do in the upper grades. We're also going to be looking at building in assessment and review for all subjects, all grade levels, in the beginning of the school year to address that slide. We're going to be looking at leveraging our technology that we just purchased to be able to monitor student achievement and progress. And if you're a child in the middle school, high school, grade book access will be open for you, which means you'll be able to see your students' grades in live time when we return to school. We'll be using a common platform, the Google Classroom. Yes, Seesaw and Zoom may be embedded in that, but that'll be the home base. And we have worked with our IT person so that you don't have to keep on putting in different passwords. Okay, that it'll be able to memorize the passwords. And we'll continue high quality professional development for teachers. Our last day of virtual instruction is June 12th, and the last day of school for teachers is June 16th. We have some fun events planned, K-6 virtual field day. Your Cherry Lane moving up ceremony is June 12th. The time may be different, so definitely check with your principal. Rushmore's is at 9 on June 15th, and the middle school moving up and bike parade is also on June 16th. We are not permitted to have gatherings of more than 150 people. However, on June 26th, that restriction is lifted, and we're really, really hopeful that we can do a high school graduation. Okay. So thank you very much to all of our PTA members for helping us. We really appreciate it. We can't do it without you, so I really do hope that you will consider being part of our committee. And now I'll open it up for questions if you have any. Anybody?
I have a question, Dr. Finn. Sorry, it's Kim. How come we're not giving the K-2 Chromebooks and teaching us the children to be all on the same system instead of giving them iPads and then waiting until third grade? Why aren't we doing a K-12 on the same platform?
Okay, so K-2 has always been using the iPads, and we did ask the principals and the teachers about this. iPads with a keyboard will work very similarly to Chromebooks, so kids can use them, but many of the applications that kids use will be put right on the Chromebook for them. I'm sorry, the iPad for them. So you could still access Google Classroom and kids can be taught how to do that, but up until this year, many of them didn't have an email password. You guys did. And we want to maintain what's good about the iPad system, which that's the preferred platform that we have always used. You can still use Google Classroom with an iPad. You just need a keyboard. So that's what we're going to supply to you. So it'll be part of the whole kit and caboodle, and your child will be able to type and do all the kinds of things he or she would be able to do on a Chromebook. The Chromebook does not have the capacity to have applications put in it. And that's part of the reason that we use the iPad as well. They need those applications because they're all part of what the teachers teach. Some of the math programs, some of the science programs, some of the independent work that they do is all tied to these applications. Next year, if we are back in school and we have to do virtual learning, you have my solemn word, it will look very, very different. Teachers will be doing live instruction for long periods of time from, say 9:30 to 11:30. you'll get 2 hours of actual instruction with a real live teacher. We didn't have the capacity to do that in the past. Now we do. And our teachers have been trained and they're up for it. So I think you'll see a positive change. Whether it's an iPad or a Chromebook doesn't matter for that. It only matters if you're typing something, and we took care of that by ordering the keyboards for you.
Okay, perfect. Now, one more question, and then I promise I'm done.
Nope,
How
it's okay.
often the children coming into kindergarten, will they keep their their iPads until they leave second grade, or will new ones be issued every year? How is
That's
that
a
going to work?
really, really good question, and I can only answer it based on my own experience in my other districts, but I can certainly find out the answer for you and share it. In my former districts, we usually collected all the Chromebooks and iPads at the end of the school year so that you could clean them up and just make sure, troubleshoot for any issue and just make sure everything's working well. Right now, if you have a Chromebook or an iPad, I want you to hang on to it just for now. Once I get all of the new equipment in, we will make sure that everybody has, a Chromebook with the ID number, and we've tracked all of that, and you've signed your firstborn child away to get it. But right now, you don't have to hand me back anything old. Hang on to it. We'll figure that out later. But I have a feeling Dr. Georgatos is probably going to want to see those Chromebooks at least once a year. So you usually get them, you hand them back, you get them again when you come back. And it will probably be a different device. You don't own a device. But if I hear anything different than that, I'll let you know.
Okay, perfect. And my house is praying for a September arrival back in the school district.
Yeah.
For face-to-face. We are not,
I
we will
am
do
going to tell you
anything.
this. If I can fit those little bodies in a building somewhere, and it may not be Cherry Lane, they may be housed in the multi-purpose room in the high school, because if I have to do some magical way to bring them back, I will. And my priority is K2, because you guys can't have babysitters. The little ones can't stay home by themselves.
Okay.
So if I had to have somebody stay home,
I'm not a very good teacher.
Right. You're a great teacher. You're always your child's most important teacher. To me, though, the older kids, that's where I may play around a little bit with if I don't have room, because obviously I can't make my 3 buildings turn into 6. But if Governor Cuomo says it has to be a 50% capacity, I've got to be creative with that. So how do I do that? So we either do an A/B schedule, a split schedule, all sorts of scenarios. That's why I need parents involved in that committee. Transportation's another whole big ball of wax. How do I get kids to get on a bus sitting one seat empty, one seat full with one child in each seat? I would need 4 buses. So we may have to look at that. Perhaps we have to drive our kids to school, but I need to have you be part of that conversation before I decide to do that.
Okay,
in any
great.
event, if I can get them in this building, if I can stick them on the roof, I will do it. I want them back in the building. So,
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
any other questions?
When will we know about the committee task force starting, meetings, timing?
Yep, great question. So June 12th is the deadline for you to say that you wish to be participating in it. Some people have sent the email to me directly. I ask that you send it to task c19@cps.k12.ny, because that way it's all kind of kept together. And then tomorrow I'm actually meeting with our district safety and health team, just to let them know that we have a separate task force for this. And then we'll break up into these advisory subcommittees. And I have plenty of people and I have plenty of committees, because like I said, I have those 5 areas: facilities, health and safety, instruction, building practices, which is as simple as how do I have kids arrive safely? How do I have them walk in the hallway? Do we eat lunch in our classrooms? Because that's what we're talking about doing. All of those things have to be decided, because as long as I can keep them contained in one room, it's safer. But that means that a lot of different things have to change. So what we're starting to do is, after that meeting, we will send out a timeline. I'll send it out to the whole community in my little love letter that will let you know I'm looking to have an action plan completed by July 3rd. So with the feedback from the community. And then I'm sure Governor Cuomo will offer guidance, and I'll have to readjust it, but we're used to that. If there's one thing we've learned, the only constant in this is change. So, okay. Any other questions? Megan, you have any questions? Quiet.
No, sorry. No, I don't really have any questions, but I'll happily be part of the task force. I sent an email.
Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. The more the merrier. And you know what? I think creativity, you have to have a lot of voices, because sometimes you haven't seen something from a different perspective and maybe it could work.
Yeah.
Maybe parents would say, absolutely not. I don't want my child in a multi-purpose room in the high school. So I need people to tell me what they want. Okay. All righty. So anything else? I heard somebody.
Yeah. Are there going to be same set of task force in each building? Or is it one?
So what I'm going to do is I have 5 areas. So there's Cherry Lane, the middle school, the high school, and Rushmore. And each of those buildings is a separate little entity into and of itself. So while I might be able to, maybe I have small classes in the high school, and I might be able to send the overflow into another room with a proctor, and that could work here. It wouldn't probably work in Cherry Lane because we're being told 50% capacity. So if I have a class of, a tiny little classroom that can only fit 20 kids, we're talking 10 kids in that room. So where do I put those other 10 kids? Well, I have ideas, and I'd love to keep them all located in the same building. The bigger kids might be able to learn from their living rooms if the teachers are teaching and there's a webcam and they're streaming. So all of those things are in my brain. Often my best laid plans are dashed by people who are smarter than I am and who know how much bandwidth that will take and, and all of the other practical things that I'm not thinking of. But somehow, some way, we're going to get them learning. And again, as Mrs. Fredericks is here with us, my assistant superintendent for instruction, we'll be working over the summer for a robust curriculum for 2 scenarios. One is virtual, if we have to do it. And the other is, what do we do with those computers if we're not virtual? Because I don't want them just used for nothing. That should be part of learning. It should move us up to the next level. So it was a huge commitment on the part of the Board of Education to trust us that we're ready for that. And I think we are, just based on how hard the teachers worked to get where they needed to go. And believe me, they know they have a ways to go, but we're going to get them there. And they have all these devices now to help them do that. And so do the teachers. So I think that's really huge. It's a huge leap of faith on the part of the board. And I think it's a silver lining that I hadn't expected. And one of my strategic plan goals that we can check off, so, which is great. We don't have to wait 5 years for that. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here. Kim, I will send you the link, and I will
Okay, perfect.
the link. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm gonna go and fix my roots. So miserable. I heard they're not blow drying hair anywhere, and I was very upset. So I'm not happy about that, but I had small problems compared to some other people, so I can't really complain. Anyway, I'm here if you need me. You can call anytime, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Dr. Finn.
You're very welcome. Have a good one, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.